At first, it felt like love. Real, overwhelming, once-in-a-lifetime kind of love. They looked at you like you were everything. Every word felt intentional. Every gesture wrapped in warmth. You were the center of their universe. At least, that's how it seemed. You told yourself, maybe this is what love is supposed to feel like. Fast, intense, magical. They said all the right things, made you feel special in ways no one else ever had. But slowly, something shifted. The compliments turned into criticism. The warmth became cold. You started walking on eggshells, unsure of what would upset them next. One day, you're their soulmate. The next, you're the problem they can't stand to deal with. And just like that, they're gone. Or worse, still there, but emotionally unreachable. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Stay with me, because in this video, we're going to unravel the narcissist cycle of abuse, the pattern of idealize, devalue, and discard. And most importantly, we'll uncover the truth. It was never your fault. When people think of abuse, they often imagine something loud, obvious, yelling, hitting, public humiliation. But emotional abuse, especially at the hands of a narcissist, it's quiet, subtle, seductive. It's a slow unraveling of who you are, until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. This is how the narcissistic cycle of abuse works, and it almost always follows three distinct phases: idealize, devalue, discard. Let's break each one down. 1. Idealize, the fantasy phase. The relationship starts with intensity, fast and powerful. You feel chosen, seen, desired, needed. They shower you with compliments. I've never met anyone like you. You're everything I've ever wanted. You complete me. It feels like a fairy tale. They text you constantly, want to see you all the time, move quickly into commitment. Say, I love you early. Talk about a future after only weeks. You begin to believe, maybe I finally found someone who gets me. But here's what's really happening. The narcissist is building a false reality. Not because they truly love you, but because they see you as a new source of what's called narcissistic supply. Attention, admiration, and control. They're not connecting with your soul. They're mirroring your dreams, vulnerabilities, and values, so they can gain your trust. During this phase, they may also share stories of deep pain or traumatic pasts, not always to bond, but often to fast-track emotional intimacy and hook your empathy. You feel like you're falling in love, but what's really happening is you're being emotionally recruited. This phase is so intoxicating that it creates a kind of chemical dependency in the brain. Dopamine surges, oxytocin bonds. You're not just in love, you're neurologically attached. But this phase was never meant to last. 2. Devalue, the unseen downfall. Then one day, it changes, maybe gradually, maybe all at once. But suddenly, the warmth starts to fade. They criticize how you talk. They roll their eyes when you share your feelings. They become distant, distracted, irritated by your presence. It's confusing, because the person who once made you feel adored now makes you feel not enough. You ask what's wrong, and they say, you're overreacting, you're too sensitive, you always make things about you. This is gaslighting, a tactic to make you question your reality. You begin to doubt your memory, your instincts, even your sanity. You apologize more, try harder, walk on eggshells to avoid setting them off. But it's never enough, because the goalpost keeps moving. What pleased them yesterday annoys them today. They may give you the silent treatment, or suddenly withdraw affection, or flirt with others just to make you feel insecure. This is intentional emotional destabilization. By keeping you off balance, they maintain control. You become more dependent, seeking their approval, craving the return of that perfect love from the beginning. But here's the truth. That version of them never existed. It was a mask. And now, the mask is slipping. During this phase, the narcissist may begin triangulating, bringing others into the dynamic to make you jealous or feel replaceable. They might say, "My ex never acted like this. Why can't you be more like someone else?" It's psychological warfare, and it's deeply damaging. You may start to believe the abuse is your fault, that if you just did one more thing right, you could bring back the good times. This is trauma bonding in action. The same person causing your pain is the one you're trying to please. It's a cycle of intermittent reinforcement, abuse followed by tiny rewards that keeps you emotionally trapped. And just when you're at your most fragile, they move into the final phase. 3. Discard, the cold exit. After tearing you down emotionally, the narcissist does something even more devastating. They discard you, sometimes slowly, losing interest, making excuses, fading out. Sometimes suddenly, vanishing, ghosting, or cruelly breaking things off. They might blame you for everything. Say you've changed, or you're too much, or you're the toxic one. Or they'll leave without explanation, block you, ignore you, replace you overnight. And worse, they'll seem completely unaffected. While you're shattered, they're posting selfies. While you're spiraling, they're already love-bombing someone new. This can feel like the death of your identity, because so much of your self-worth was tied to the version of love they sold you in the beginning. You start questioning your value, wondering why you weren't enough, obsessing over what you could have done differently. But the painful truth is, there was never anything you could have done to stop the discard, because it was never about who you were. It was about what they could get. When that supply runs dry, or they find someone shinier, they move on. Not because you failed, but because their mask couldn't hold anymore. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Sometimes they come back. The Hoover, reopening old wounds. This isn't part of the core cycle, but it's common. It's called the Hoover, like the vacuum cleaner, because they try to suck you back in after discarding you. They might reappear weeks, months, or even years later. Suddenly kind again, apologetic, saying things like, "I miss you. I've changed. No one ever understood me like you did." And it's tempting to believe them, because you still remember the person they pretended to be. But the cycle doesn't restart with healing. It restarts with new illusions, leading right back into idealization, devalue, and discard again. Unless you break it. Why it's so hard to leave. You might wonder, why didn't I walk away sooner? But that question is rooted in shame. And shame is the narcissist's greatest weapon. The real question is, how did they condition you to stay? And the answer is, through a slow, deliberate erosion of your identity, self-trust, and emotional safety. They made you doubt your instincts, made you believe love should hurt, made you feel like the chaos was normal. But it's not, and it never was. Speech balloon, the psychological trap. Here's what you need to know. Narcissists don't form relationships to connect. They form them to control. They don't seek emotional intimacy. They seek emotional dominance. And that's why this cycle is so predictable. It's not random. It's not circumstantial. It's strategic. They idealize to capture you, devalue to weaken you, discard to replace you, while watching you fall apart. And when they see you healing, they might hover again, not out of love, but because your strength threatens their illusion of power. Final insight. Understanding the narcissist's cycle doesn't mean you're weak for falling into it. It means you're human. You wanted love, connection, safety, the same things every human deserves. And they use those desires against you. But knowledge is power. When you see the pattern, you can choose to break it. Not just once, but every time they try to reel you back in. Because this time, you know what you're looking at. And you'll never confuse If you've made it this far, take a breath. Because I know this isn't just a topic for you. It's a lived experience. You didn't just hear the cycle. You felt it. In your bones. In the pit of your stomach. In the silence of your nights, when everything felt like it was your fault. But here's what I need you to know, now and always. You were never the problem. Let's start with that truth. You didn't cause the abuse. You didn't deserve the manipulation. And loving someone with a disordered sense of self was never a reflection of your worth, only of your capacity for empathy. Narcissists target kind, giving, emotionally intelligent people. Not because you're weak, but because your light threatens the emptiness they feel inside. And when that light starts to dim under their abuse, they blame you. When you cry, they say you're too emotional. When you ask for clarity, they call you controlling. When you finally set boundaries, they say you've changed. But the truth is, you were finally waking up. What healing actually looks like. Healing isn't linear. It's not clean or quick. And it doesn't come from pretending it didn't hurt. It begins by giving yourself permission to feel. All of it. The rage, the grief, the shame, the numbness. Because recovery isn't about forgetting the cycle. It's about understanding it so deeply that you'll never step into it again. Start by validating your story. Even if others don't believe you. Even if the narcissist painted you as the villain. You know what you lived through, and that truth is sacred. Step 1. No contact or low contact. If you're able, no contact is one of the most powerful tools in healing. No texts, no calls, no checking their social media, no falling for the just one conversation trap. Because narcissists don't return to apologize. They return to regain control. If no contact isn't possible, because of children or shared responsibilities, then adopt the gray rock method. Become boring, emotionless, unreactive. Give them nothing they can use. Remember, you don't owe them closure. You owe yourself peace. Step 2. Rebuild your inner voice. Abuse silences the voice inside you. It replaces your intuition with self-doubt. Now it's time to get that voice back. Start journaling. Write down what happened. Not to relive it, but to reclaim it. Name the patterns. Name the pain. Name yourself again. And then ask, what do I need now? Not what they need. Not how to fix anyone, but what you truly need to feel safe again. Because healing is not about revenge. It's about reconnection with self. Step 3. Find safe people. You don't have to do this alone. In fact, you shouldn't. Isolation was a tool they used to control you. Now connection can be your lifeline. Find a trauma-informed therapist. Join survivor groups. Surround yourself with people who don't make you question your reality. Even one safe person, someone who hears you, believes you, holds space for your truth, can be the beginning of your new life. Step 4. Understand the psychology, but don't excuse the behavior. Learning about narcissistic personality disorder can be empowering. It helps make sense of the chaos. But be careful not to romanticize or justify what happened. Yes, narcissists are often wounded. Yes, many carry childhood trauma. But unhealed trauma is never an excuse to abuse. You didn't sign up to be someone's emotional punching bag. You can have compassion without sacrificing your boundaries. You can understand their disorder without tolerating disrespect. Let knowledge guide you, but let boundaries protect you. Step 5. Redefine love. You were taught that love was intensity, that love was drama, pain, and endless forgiveness. But real love is safe. It's gentle, respectful, consistent. It never makes you beg for clarity. It never thrives on your confusion. So give yourself the chance to redefine what love is, not based on what you survived, but based on what you truly deserve. And remember, the most important love is the one you rebuild within yourself. You're already healing, even now. If you're watching this, still listening, you've already started. You're asking questions, seeking truth, breaking patterns. That's courage. That's healing. The narcissist might have stolen chapters from your story, but they don't get to write the ending. You do. You get to rise, to grow, to love again, with boundaries, clarity, and strength. You get to choose peace, even when it's quiet and unfamiliar. You get to become someone who never betrays themselves again. Not for love, not for anyone. Final words. You are not alone. If your heart is heavy right now, know this. You are not alone. Your story matters. Your pain is valid. And your future is brighter than this moment. There is life after narcissistic abuse. There is love after betrayal. There is strength in your softness. You are not too sensitive. You are not broken. You are not hard to love. You are learning, healing, reclaiming. And that is the most powerful thing of all. If this message spoke to you, drop a comment below. Tell your story. Because someone out there needs to hear that they're not alone. And if you want more content on healing and emotional growth, don't forget to subscribe. This is just the beginning.